I thought I was building a career, but someone else was building a cage, and I walked into it smiling, thanking them, proving I could handle it. It took me 3 years to realize I was not an employee, I was an experiment. It started on my first day. My manager shook my hand and told me I was exactly what the team needed. Someone hungry, someone willing to prove himself, someone ready to do whatever it takes. I felt chosen, like I finally had a chance to show what I could do. That feeling was the hook. Within 2 weeks, I noticed something. My manager would give me instructions in passing, quick conversations by the coffee machine, vague emails sent late at night. But when I delivered what he asked for, he would look at me like I was crazy. That is not what I said. Did you even listen during the meeting? Maybe you need to focus more. At first, I believed him. Maybe I was not sharp enough. Maybe I was missing something obvious. So I started documenting everything, recording meetings, keeping every message. But it did not matter, because the goal was never about the work. The goal was to make me doubt myself, and it worked. I stopped trusting my instincts. I stopped trusting my judgment. I started second-guessing every decision. I became the guy who asked permission for everything, who needed approval before moving forward, who could not make a choice without checking first. I became small, and that was exactly what they wanted. Then the guilt started. One Thursday night, I left at 7. I had been there since 6 in the morning, 13 hours, but I had plans, a life outside those walls. On Friday morning, one of the senior guys pulled me aside. We stayed until midnight finishing that proposal. Could have used your help. Everyone noticed you left early. I felt like garbage. Like I had let the team down. Like I was not committed enough. So the next time I stayed, and the time after that. And soon, leaving before 9 felt like quitting. My boundaries disappeared. My time stopped being mine. And I told myself this was what it took to succeed. But the senior guy who called me out, he left at 5 every single day. Never worked weekends, never apologized for having a family, for having boundaries. The rules applied to us, not to him. I started noticing other patterns too. Some weeks, my manager would praise me in front of the whole team, tell everyone I was crushing it, that I was the example to follow. I would feel proud, validated, like I was finally proving myself. But then weeks would pass with nothing, no feedback, no recognition, just silence. I did not understand it. I was working just as hard, delivering the same results, but the acknowledgement was gone, so I pushed harder, stayed later, took on impossible deadlines, trying to earn back that feeling, that moment when I felt like I mattered. I was hooked, and he controlled the supply. This is called intermittent reinforcement. It is the same trick that keeps people gambling. The unpredictability makes you chase the reward, and whoever controls that reward controls you. Around month 8, things got stranger. I stopped getting invited to things. The guys would go to lunch without mentioning it. Group chats would go quiet when I logged in. Meetings happened without me, and nobody thought to loop me in. At first, I thought maybe I had done something wrong, said something offensive, but nobody would tell me what. They just kept me at a distance. And slowly I realized it was strategic. They were isolating me, but there was one person who stayed close, another team member who seemed to get it, who told me the others were threatened by my work, that they wanted me gone so they could look better. He became my only ally in that place, my only friend. I trusted him completely. What I did not know was that he was the one planting doubt about me with everyone else. He created my isolation, then positioned himself as my only support, and because I was desperate for someone to understand, I believed everything he told me. I became dependent on him, and that gave him leverage. He used it. He would ask me to cover for him, to take blame for his mistakes, to do his work when he was behind, and I did it because I thought that was what loyalty looked like. That was what friendship required. I stopped thinking for myself. I just did what he wanted. One afternoon, my manager called me into his office. He told me that people were worried about my performance, that I was not meeting expectations, that my attitude was becoming a problem. He would not tell me who said it, would not give specifics, just vague warnings that my position was at risk. I panicked. I worked even harder, stopped sleeping enough, stopped seeing friends, stopped doing anything that was not work. I was drowning, and every time I tried to surface, someone pushed me back under. This went on for almost 2 years. Then something broke. I was in a presentation, and my manager was talking about a strategy I had developed. Except in his version, it was his idea. My research became his insight. My work became his leadership, and everyone nodded like it was obvious. I started to say something, but I stopped, because I knew what would happen. He would deny it. He would make me look defensive, insecure, like I was trying to take credit for team efforts, and everyone would believe him. That was the moment I saw it. This was not poor communication. This was not misunderstanding. This was intentional, strategic, calculated. I was being controlled, and once I saw it, everything became clear. The gaslighting, the guilt, the isolation, the praise and silence cycle, the triangulation, the fear, all of it had been there from the beginning. So I changed my approach. I started documenting everything with timestamps. I stopped sharing anything personal. I gave brief, professional responses. No emotion, no vulnerability. I became uninteresting to manipulate, and slowly, I started trusting myself again. My memory, my judgment, my worth. I stopped needing their validation, stopped believing the version of myself they had created. I remembered who I actually was. It took another year to leave, but when I did, I walked out intact, not broken, not defeated, not doubting everything I knew. I left knowing exactly what had happened, and knowing it was never about my performance. It was about power. Now I see these patterns everywhere, in every workplace. The subtle manipulations, the psychological games, the control disguised as leadership, and I know how to protect myself, because nobody can control someone who knows himself. At work, the people who controlled my mind controlled my future, but I learned to protect what was mine. My reality, my confidence, my voice. They tried to rewrite who I was, but I remembered, and that memory saved me. If you feel like someone is rewriting your story, trust that instinct. It is your mind fighting back. Leave your answer in the comments below and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next video.